There's only so much room in a 4-minute song, so let's talk about it. We'll start with some stripped-down acoustic videos, and then a few girl chats. From self-love, dating, and relationships, to chasing our dreams, no topic is off limits. There are lots of laughs, but it also gets deep. Join us as we bare our souls in the Beyond the Song series. Now I like this because we're kind of segueing to the next piece.
The standards?
Yeah, your standards, because I wanted to talk to you a bit about what's on your list.
Yeah.
Like, if a guy was to court you, if a guy was to approach you, you know how everyone has, like, a list, whether it's just in your mind or a physical written out list. Some have, like, an actual. So I just want to know, what's on your list? Like, what's I guess relationships aside, from a dating standpoint, just a guy in general, what would be on your list?
I think mine kind of evolved from like just like mass dating in like a very healthy way. But just paying attention to what I liked and what I didn't like. Quick wit, very big to me, but a kind person. So when you balance those two, I think you get that's an indicator of education and being, you know, smart, but also being kind and a good person. So that's been important. But also a huge red flag, no matter who you are, how smart you are, do people like you aside from me? Like people that have been able to be in multiple circles, or if you kind of throw them in a room and you see, how they respond to people. That's been so big to me because I've been with really educated, good on paper, and just not, the social circle is not there, and you're like, what's, that should, I was 20, but that's okay. But that should have been something that should have shown me right away, and now I realize, it's a huge thing for me. I'm much more willing to get to know you if other people have already kind of,
Got you.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's true. Communication is probably really big for me. Sometimes I need a guy who's like a guy. Like, cause I'm kind of passive aggressive sometimes, where I'll get into my feelings and I expect a guy to like know what I want, which is not realistic. But I need a guy to say like, Qyana, shut up. Like, let's talk about this. Like, you're acting kind of crazy. Something else that I realized that I didn't like. I'm a Christian, and I've always kind of been like, I'm open and accepting to everybody's religion, but there was a guy that I dated who was like a complete atheist. We dated for like very briefly, and I realized how important it is for me to be with somebody who's on the same wavelength when it comes to that.
A foundation.
Because every time that I talked about, like anytime something about God or whatever came up, like he always had, but we were slaves and the white man came in and gave us this religion. And I'm like,
sir,
oh my gosh, like,
we can't talk about
completely, I cannot have a conversation with you about that. So that's really important to me too.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm pretty crazy, so I need somebody who's a little more even-keeled to just kind of keep me together. What's another thing? I like to talk about like how I feel. And I just like to talk in general. I just need somebody who I can like go back and forth with, and like my sarcasm and my like wit doesn't necessarily turn them off or like make them feel uncomfortable or feel like they can't talk. Like
or
they
less
just
than.
Yeah, or they can just like come back with it, and it's like, oh, okay, well, there goes that.
Right, good. So you shared your list, or what's the no-no, if you will. What is your type, if you will? And I have a follow-up question, but let's just start with talking about your type a little bit. What would you say is your type? I'm starting with you.
What is my type? I used to be really big into like I used to really be into like physical and like I need somebody whose style game is on point. Now I'm getting older. I'm like, oh my God, Qyana, you need to get over that. You can like fix a man up. But my type is usually like tall, so at least like 5'7", 5'8", which I know isn't like tall. I know, but it's taller than me. I just need a guy taller than me.
Okay.
Yeah. Any shade of brown is great for me. Muscular build or like athletic build, and fade, nice smile. Yeah, like physical wise you're talking about, right?
Yeah, what's your type?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Physical is tough for me. I don't know.
So I have a type, but that's not, like, if you look at my dating pool, that hasn't been that. Because I really am about, like, the inside. Like, if I can't connect with you, if we can have, like, a long conversation, then it's probably not working. But I do like a tall, dark, chocolate, big. I like big guys because I'm big, so I want to be held and like thrown on the table or on a wall. So
I almost heard.
I mean, not a table. I mean, whatever.
No, you're fine. Yes, you're grown. You're good.
Respectfully.
Good.
Respectfully.
Yes.
Essentially.
I like to feel like a girl. I want to feel like, I don't want to feel like, hey, let's go. Like, you know, I'm 5'10", like, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think I have like the opposite situation. I was with taller people, and I think every person I've been with has just gotten shorter and shorter. I think there's something to that. I think, because the people that I've been with is like, they're very quick, they're very smart, they're really often the big nerds, you know, on something, just geeking out about something. But there's something to that where I've had to kind of think about how I feel, because I'm 5'9", I'm a tall, larger, you know, girl as well. So I've had to kind of overcome that a little bit, because the people that actually do treat me the best and the people that I resonate the best with have gotten, they're tinier than I am. So I've also had to learn about what that means in terms of me kind of asserting myself, because I'm with you. Like I'm big in a lot of situations, and sometimes I like feeling smaller, but I'm learning how that may be more of a mental trick. So I'm exploring.
I can say for me, so my type used to be, I wanted someone, you know, I probably shouldn't say that, probably sounds really bad, but I'll say what it was, like kind of like near my complexion, if you will. Like that's like who I would see, like I would be attracted to guys that are like near my complexion and taller than me, attractive of course, trying to think of what else. That's probably the gist of it. I didn't, for some reason, I might as well just share it. For some reason, I think lighter guys, for whatever reason, this is not a blanket statement, but I got a perception of guys that were fairer skinned and how they kind of behave from my experience. So I felt a little kind of way about that particular type of guy, like a lighter guy. So I didn't have really any thought about someone being chocolate, because I'm chocolate too. So that wasn't really it. But I had like a thing against like, I don't think I really like lighter guys. They're kind of like weird or something like that. But I don't know what that, I mean, I know where it came from, just experiences, but clearly not every light-skinned guy is like, whatever, thinking they're this pretty boy Floyd sort of thing. But I don't like someone that thinks they're cuter than me. Like I can't do that. So
that's why I said, give me an ugly boy.
Yeah,
I'd rather have that than
if you're like
one of us gonna be in the mirror.
Right. If it's all of that going on, I can't take it. Like I prefer a man that's a manly man, if you will. And it's nothing against someone that's not a manly man, but for Tamish, that's what I prefer. And then someone that I guess a few other things. I didn't talk before about what I don't like, but good personality, someone I can laugh with, someone I can be myself around and not feel like I have to put on to impress you or anything like that. Like have to become something for you, you loving me, you know, for me, which is, I've had two different situations. So with the person I'm dating now, or in a relationship with, I guess clearly beyond dating, I'm in a relationship with now, like clearly we've been together. But he loves Tamish fully. And he's seen me like every part of my personality, everything, and he's accepting of that. Like he's a really good match. Yeah. Which others I was kind of fearful of being completely myself because I don't know if you could take it. And then I feel like, oh man, if you don't like it, then you're gonna break up with me. And I have this whole like fear of whatever it may be, as opposed to seeing myself as, Tamish, as you know, I see myself now, like you are the gift. Personally, you are the prize to be won, okay? You get yourself together and try to win me. And if you don't feel that way, then you're not the one for me. Like, that's literally what it is. If you don't respect me in that kind of way, which is how I should have been thinking, less into, I guess, my younger self, that would have probably shifted things a long time ago. That's kind of some of my thoughts. What about you all?
I think that's the biggest part of like getting older and just like, you know, becoming a woman. It's just like, okay, especially in dating, it's like I am me. And it's not, you know, there's some things that are going to change, but for the most part, I'm going to stay who I am. And you're either going to have to get with it, or I'm going to just have to be alone for now. And I think that's, like, it's hard for a lot of women to accept. It's been hard for me to accept at some points. But, you know, you just have to, like, you're never going to change. Like, you have to be with somebody who it's going to work with. And if it doesn't, then at the end of the day, it's not going to work at the end of the day. And, you know, it's not going to work anyway. So you're wasting your time. So just, like, to be yourself the whole way through. And, you know, sometimes there's going to be those moments where it's like, ooh, I went really far. Hopefully he can understand that. You know, and then sometimes they can't. And you got to be able to be like, all right, deuces. I remember I dated this guy, like this Wall Street banker or something like that. And I just felt like, oh my God, like, you know, I'm I'm dating somebody, like, you know, this is it. Like,
I have a ride.
You know, yeah, I'm in a new little pool. Yeah, so, but then like, he was really, really on it. And then suddenly, you know, the calls got, it was more toward the Christmas time. Apparently that's like a heavy time for them. But that wasn't okay for me. And like the calls got slower, everything got slower. And it got to a point, and it wasn't like a crazy, like just like cut off. But it was like, you know how you feel, just something changes. And I had to have the strength enough to be like, you know what? No, like don't call me no more. I'm good. It's cool. And he kind of felt like, whoa, that's a lot. But for me, it was like, what am I wasting my time for? If you aren't taking the time for me, then there's no point in me being here. Yeah. So you know, you have to be able to, you know, it's hard to do. Yeah. But like I felt like that was I became a woman. Yes. Yeah. Dating like time, my moment where I was like, okay, like I've grown up in these dating streets.
Right. I have to take this mess.
I feel that way more and more now. Like as I get older, I feel like I used to compromise on certain things. It's funny because you say like you kind of like downplay your personality or like your intelligence. Like there's guys that I've dated and I'm like, oh, like I know probably so much more than you, and not to make the guy feel stupid or anything, but it's like I don't want you to feel less than. So like let me just be like the little sweet girl, and I'm like I don't want to be with someone that feels intimidated because I'm an intelligent person or because I'm ambitious or because, to your point, like maybe I show a side of my personality that's not all roses and butterflies all the time. So now I'm getting to that point where like I'm dating people and I'm like, you know what, this is me. Like this is Qyana. I do have those times where I just want to be left alone. And to my point earlier, like I need a guy that's going to be like, Qyana, like let's figure this out. Like, okay, you're mad, but like let's talk through this. Don't just run away. I've like gotten comfortable with saying like, I am Qyana and I need someone who can like ride on this train. And if you can't, then that's fine. It doesn't mean that you are less than. It doesn't mean I'm less than. It just means that we're not perfect for each other. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Absolutely. What about you? Any other?
In my relationship, we hold our relationship to a standard like a job, which doesn't sound very fun at all, but I think it's, you know, I think you get hired for a certain job and you show up, and when you stop showing up, you don't get to work there anymore. And so when you start seeing it in that, and you put in work, and people, you know, they go to their jobs, they have like progress meetings, they check in what's working, what's not working. We don't do that at home, and so I've started kind of implementing that, and it's made a big difference because it's not just like I've chosen you, so now we're in it. Yeah. I choose you every day. And I heard somebody in Brooklyn, I was walking around, and this guy was like, yeah, it's just like a choice every day. You know, some days it's hard to make that choice. And some days it's just so easy, but every day you decide whether or not you want to show up. And I think I started thinking that for myself. I need to show up. I need to decide when I like walk in the door that I am here for this person. I'm not taking this person for granted. And it also helped me kind of create that responsibility, that standard for other people. Like what you said, like, you're not showing up to work today, so why should you get to be here? I don't care, you know, if you work on Wall Street or what you do, you're not showing up, so you don't get the fruits of, you know,
my labor.
Exactly, of my labor. Exactly. And that was a little click for me, is what you said. It resonated with me because that's what helped me decide, you know, how to hold it to the standard.
Next time on the Beyond the Song series.
Every girl that passed by was just like, hey, how you doing? Okay, no. Oh, hey, how you doing? Okay. Hey, how you doing? What's up, hey?
No. Okay. One guy was like, oh, I have a girlfriend. It's cool.
This is what I'm saying.
Be friends.
Somebody asked for a sip of my hot chocolate the other day, and I was like, are you thirsty? Like, I'll get you something.